And we are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your on air host, Sara DiVello, and I'm so excited to welcome to the show tonight Shanora Williams, here to give us the inside scoop on her brand new red hot book, The Wife Before, racking up all the praise. Shanora, welcome to Mystery and Thriller Mavens. Tell us about The Wife.
It is crazy. That's all I can say. It's suspenseful, it's twisty. If you love domestic thrillers, then you'll most likely enjoy, hopefully, The Wife Before. Hopefully.
Yay. Okay. Well, we're going to get into all the dirty deets. But first, I just want to welcome everyone who we're broadcasting to 6 different destinations across Facebook and YouTube. So no matter where you're watching from, you're in the right place. This is the right time. It is Mystery Monday, which means Mondays are murder. We're going to make it a little less painful for you with a fabulous interview. So if you've been here before, you know how it works. And if you're new, welcome. We're so happy to have you here. Here's how it works. Every Monday, I give you my hand-picked featured authors, and you get to ask them anything. So ask Shanora about The Wife Before, her writing practice, how she got this crazy idea. She wrote it postpartum. We got to know all the things. So let's get into it. Read, love, listen. Welcome to the conversation. Thank you so much. She said that title is intriguing. So, Shanora, let's talk about the title. Did pop right in there? Was it number 101? How did it work?
It did just pop up, honestly. It was just like, when I was thinking about it, I'm like, I kept saying, The Wife Before, The Wife Before. And I'm like, well, you might as well just call it The Wife Before. Like, it might as well be, because I would like plot it out with friends, and I'm like, well, the wife before her did do this or did do that. So I just went with that for the title. I'm like, well, The Wife Before. That'll
Did
be
it
what
come
it
to
is.
you at the beginning, before the story, during the story? Where did it come to you?
Before the story, for sure. I
Ooh,
usually try to come up with titles beforehand, but lately, I don't know. I've been coming up with them like during, I'm like in the middle of writing, but yeah, that one came beforehand.
Ooh, okay. Good to get the inside scoop on that. Nancy, welcome to the conversation. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's great to have you. So Nancy DM'd me earlier. She's a fabulous bookstagrammer, book reviewer, and she let me know that she loved this book and she's excited for the interview. Nancy, we're excited to have you here. Thanks for joining us. Oh, hello. It's Courtney from Canada. She said, this book is my utmost favorite by you, Shanora. It is genius. And she needs to know what your favorite part to write was. This was her first 5-star book of the year.
Thank you. My favorite parts? Ooh. I think my favorite part were Melanie's journals. Honestly, just like logging in as Melanie, even though she's not even alive, technically. It was just fun to write from her perspective and to get into the details. I think those were my favorite parts.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, thank you. So if you're watching from a private Facebook group, you can stay mysterious or you can enable your privacy settings, your choice. This is Mystery and Thriller Maven. So someone is staying on brand, very mysterious, saying that they loved it too. Tell us what you loved about it. We'd love to know.
Yeah.
And this book is getting all sorts of great praise. So let's dive into that. Kirkus Reviews says Williams does give both Melanie and Samira multiple dimensions. They are flawed, but also strong and determined. And the twist at the end is a surprise. So let's talk about writing flawed women that walk us through that process.
Flawed women. Well, I know, and I used to read thrillers, the women would always be like, perfect, or like living like the picture perfect life. And I don't know, I just wanted to explore like women who weren't perfect or had flaws. Like I love a flawed character because I feel like it makes them relatable, even though their choices may be poor or annoying. I think it makes the story more fun and more relatable for them. So I don't know, especially flawed women. Like, women are already hard on themselves, and I think hard on their own flaws. And if you, I don't know, I like to just address some of my own flaws in some of my stories too. So, I mean,
so what's a flaw of yours that you revealed in this story, Shanora?
a flaw of mine?
Are you often late by chance?
Oh no, not so. I would say I was like almost the opposite of Samira, like where she's like lazy and doesn't like to do anything. I'm more of a go getter, and like I'm not just gonna lay around and wait for something to happen. Like, no, she's the complete opposite of me. I did love her character though. Like she's someone who I think I could hang with. Um, but she probably would annoy me. But she's one of those like you love them even though they get on your nerves type of person. So,
Mm.
yeah, but I mean, I don't know what flaw. Let me think, because it's been I'm gonna say almost a year.
Right, that's so true. So in publishing, there's such a lag
Yes.
between when you turn it in,
Yeah.
then the editing, then many rounds of that, then it has to go through all of the things they have to do in order to print the books and get
Right.
them all ready. So by the time it's out, it's brand new to us. It's not even out yet, it's out tomorrow. But for you, you're like, oh,
Right.
I've already moved on.
Yes. I'm like,
Like,
you
let me
already
remember.
have the third book that's coming out in next summer, and I'm like, wait, but we're still on the second one. Like, it's not even out yet. Like, yeah. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Canadian Courtney is saying that Shanora, your unique twist of doing that with the flawed characters made it so much more delicious to her. And I have to totally agree. I like that you said that as a reader, you were tired of reading about perfect women with perfect lives. So in Samira and Melanie, you have given us two flawed characters. So Samira, always late, can't really get her life together, has trouble holding onto a job, and so not giving us the perfect marriage, the perfect one, the perfect man. Refreshing is true and delicious. Thank you, Courtney. I totally agree. Thank you for that. And another bit of praise that and actually this was for your last book, but let's talk about this as well. So Taryn Fisher, who's an author who knows her way around sensuality, says that you too know your way around writing a sensual and shocking book. That was for your last book, The Perfect Ruin.
Mhm.
Shara, what do you think the secret is? How do you write a sensual, shocking book?
I don't know. I think the sensual part comes from writing. I was a romance writer. Well, I still am. I wrote romance. So I think it sort of comes with like the territory. Like sometimes they mingle. So sometimes we may get too carried away with like the husband and wife scenes, and maybe that's what makes it it's more sensual than it should be. But I enjoy it. I mean, I love to read it in books. There's an author, Jennifer Hillier. I don't know. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I
Yeah.
like her. I read Little Secrets by her, and I liked how that one was like. It was slightly sensual. Like I liked it, and I just love to see that in stories. Like actually seeing the connection between the person and why they are with this person, and
Mm.
instead of just like the surface level, like oh he pays for this and we go here and we went to this vacation. Like, no, I want to see like the details. And I think that is probably what makes it a little more sensual.
Okay, loving this inside scoop. Our mystery watcher has shared that it's Sherry. Hi, Sherry. She's watching from our private Facebook group, Mystery and Thriller Mavens. Thank you so much for joining us. So great to see you pop up. And she would like to know, Shanora, do you plot out your stories or do the characters talk to you and drive the story? So walk us through your creative process. Give us the inside scoop.
Well, I'm more of my characters take me wherever they want to go person. Like once I'm
Mm.
in, I'm just the fingers and like the eyes, I guess. But the characters sort of do their own thing. I will say in The Wife Before that I did get to a point where I did have to sit and sort of plot out how it was going to play out to get to the ending. And but other than that, I mean, I think that was like one part, and it took me about like 2 weeks to like finally get over that hump of figuring it out. But
Mm.
yeah, I'm more of like my characters take me where they need me to go. So if I could easily write an outline, like a loose outline, that's usually what I do. But
Mhm.
I may not follow it. So, and sometimes it turns out better, but sometimes it turns out worse. But it's still good to have an outline just in case um, I need to go back and figure out, okay, maybe we can, reverse here or use this part here for this part, like it helps. So, but I'm definitely like they call it a pantser or a plotter. I'm a pantser. Like I just kind of go with the flow.
So do you sit down every day at the same time and just say, here I am with my fingers, guide me. Like how does it do it? How do you do it?
I wish I could. I used to before I had my kids. I would just sit and write all day, and it was unhealthy, I will say, but it was fun. I loved it. I mean, that was my escape. I probably wouldn't have been as unhealthy if I would have like worked out with it or something during the day. But I would just wake up, get on my laptop, and write, eat breakfast. Yeah. But I wish I could do that now. I have 3 boys, and my oldest is 7. So it's a madhouse. And then, like I told you, we just got a new puppy. So madhouse. And now it's summer. So I really haven't been able to write as much. But when I do, I'm invested, but it has to be quiet and it has to be sort of like when the kids are asleep, which is usually at night. And nighttime is usually my groove. Like I get really good words in at night. So lately it's nighttime for me.
I am a night writer as well. That is also when I hit my groove.
Especially for
Um,
thrillers. Like I mean, there's something about the night and writing mystery that's like it's good.
ooh, so wait, so you do, but there's not writing romance. What about writing romance at night? Is it
Well, I
fun?
do actually. Yeah, I think I write everything mostly at night. I
I
think
think
the
you're
only
just a
time
night owl.
yeah, I really am. I'm like, I'll be up until like 2 in the morning and it's
Same.
exhausting, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
Even romance, yeah, I'll write romance like um during the day, I procrastinate and I'll take all day to just like I'll have my laptop, even if I do have the chance, it's just open and I'm just like, so what do I do? And then finally nighttime, and I'm like, okay, let's finally get some words in before you get too sleepy. So that hits.
Exactly. Exactly. Nancy would like to know what comes easier for you, writing thrillers or romances?
Definitely romances. I think because romances are pretty much the same formula each time. Um, I mean, not that thrillers don't have their own formula, but romances are just easier because it's usually, the characters meet. There's the climax of them getting together. Then there's like the downfall of the miscommunication or, something that happens. Then the happily ever after. But when it comes to the thrillers can just go, do, 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 like up and down, up and down, up and down. You never know. So, and then like my PA calls them like slaps in the face, my thrillers. Because when you get to a twist, it's like she calls it the Shanora slap. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Like she's just got a Shanora slapped in one of the thrillers. She's like, I
Yeah.
didn't see that coming. That was a slap in the face.
The Shanora slap. I feel like we should get that trending
Yeah, the Shanora.
on Twitter. Hashtag the Shanora slap. I feel like that needs to be patented.
That would
Um,
be, yes.
so you do find it easier to write the romances though.
Yes, definitely the romances. I can write a romance and like completely finish it within like 2 to 3 months, and that includes the rewrites, everything. But when it comes to my thrillers, it takes me at least 6 to 8 months, even up to a year. It takes me a while for my thrillers, but only because I like to make sure there are like not any or major plot holes. I feel like it's kind of hard to get every single plot hole in a thriller, but I try to make sure there's no major like anything missing plot holes and that it doesn't lack too much description or is
Mm.
overly descriptive in some parts. So yeah, my thrillers take me way longer.
Shanora, I noticed that you opened this book by sharing that you had written it postpartum, even though you were exhausted, sleep deprived, taking care of a new baby and 2 other boys, but that the story wouldn't leave you alone. You said, walk us through that moment. Were you trying to rest and they just Samira wouldn't stop talking to you, or what was it?
Well, the truth is, like, it wasn't even Samira, it was Melanie who was doing a lot of the talking. And me, I'm thinking of also Roland, the husband. They were the main ones doing a lot of the talking. And personally, I didn't know how The Wife Before was going to end at all. Some of the characters in this book I didn't even think would be in the book, but they make an impact. So I just kept thinking about like, okay, I don't want to make this the obvious. It was obviously the husband. So I was like, where can we go with this? And it just was nagging at me. But postpartum was really hard. My publisher did allow me some more time to write, so they gave me like an extension to write it, which was good. And I'm thankful for that because it would have been a terrible book if I would have had to turn it in at the date it was set. But yeah, Postpartum is just, I mean, I cried a lot, but it got finished. So
Were you crying because just of sheer exhaustion or
yeah,
frustration with the story,
just
or
both.
were you weeping for Melanie, or
Just from just being tired. I was
yeah,
just really tired,
completely exhausted?
and I wanted to sleep, but I felt like if I slept, then I was like wasting time not writing.
Mhm.
Um, Yeah, so it was just almost like a lose-lose situation.
I also noticed in your acknowledgments, does anyone else flip to read the acknowledgments first before they even read the book? Hands up. Let me know in the comments if you do. But I noticed in your acknowledgments that you had wonderful words of praise for both your agent and your editor. You talked about how supported you felt by each of these women, that you felt like a team, and I was really, it was so heartwarming to see how loved and supported you feel by each of these women, and to see that you have a team supporting you. Did that come together right as well, right at first, or has it been built over time? Walk us through, tell us about your team.
Okay, yes. So there's my agent. Well, she was my previous agent. Her name was Shawanda. Absolutely love that woman. She gave me the shoe in with Kensington, and at first I signed with a previous editor, but I think she ended up leaving. So they assigned me to Norma, and Norma is amazing. Like I love Norma. She is encouraging. She's like, her notes in the edits are always like, yes, yes, I love this, yes. Like, and her critique is just amazing. I love it. Like, and they were both like, it was nice to be able to communicate with both of them and to see that, they were really rooting for this book. It gave me a lot of like inspiration to keep going because
Mm.
yeah, especially like writing it postpartum, they were very understanding, they were very patient. Um, and I just appreciated it. I don't know, they're amazing women. They're really amazing, amazing women. Like I can't even say more than that. Like I have not met either of them in person yet, but when I do, they're gonna be the people that I hug and don't let go of for a while. It's gonna be like that long drawn out awkward hug. Like
When they're done, but you're not done.
yes, like we're
I
done.
love, and this is your agent and your editor.
Yes. Yeah.
Yay. I love that you're so supported.
Yeah.
Um, Anissa, welcome to the conversation. She said she always reads the acknowledgments first
Really?
too. Thank you that I'm not the only one. I always want to see who they thank. I want to learn a little bit about the author. I want to connect with her. And then I want to get into the story. Courtney saying, thank God for women supporting women like this. Yes, Courtney, totally. I agree. Anissa saying, hello, Sara and Shanora, joining us live from South Carolina. Anissa, always a pleasure to see your name pop up. And Shanora, I also know the third thing that I noticed in your acknowledgments was that you had such an attitude of gratitude and thanked your readers, which was so lovely. Tell us about your relationship to your readers. Do you read your reviews? How do you like to connect with your readers?
I connect with them usually it's just through social media. So Instagram is like my primary platform, and recently it's been TikTok, which is intriguing. It's a lot of fun on TikTok.
It is.
Um, and then I also have a group. It's called Mighty Networks, the Mighty Networks group.
Ooh.
I also have that group, and it's sort of like Facebook groups, but it's a little better in my opinion. Like I was tired of Facebook and all the like changes. So I was like, let's just go migrate somewhere else. So I started a Mighty Networks group and they can communicate with me there too. But I love my readers. My readers are my core. Like without them, I would not have been able to reach this milestone of having The Wife Before or The Perfect Ruin where it is. So I always thank my readers. Like they're number one, number uno when it comes to like the literary world. Cause it's like, if you don't read it, then I can't write it. I can't sell it. I'm always grateful for every single person who even if you hate the book, I'm like just glad that you thought, the name Shanora Williams, I'm gonna try it. Like I'm just grateful, just period.
I love that because I've noticed that not everyone is, and some authors don't they get to a certain level of success, and they don't want to do events anymore. They don't want to do interviews anymore. They don't want to. I reached out to to an author, and the publicist took a month to get back to me, and then said, oh, this particular author is not doing publicity for their next book.
Oh,
And
wow.
I thought, I just
see, that's strange. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm very I can be very introverted when it comes to interviews. I don't know why. I always feel like, I think it's just a me issue. Like I always feel like I'm gonna say something like dumb, like just not sound very proper, or just not, people are gonna be like, what is she talking about? I ramble a lot. So I'm like, this is gonna be more suffering to people than it is enjoyment, but I'm getting over that a lot. I think that most of that comes from like my self-published background. I was a self-published author first, and so I didn't really do a lot of live events, so I'm still getting used to it, but I enjoy it. Like I don't have a problem with that. Like I try to make time for anyone who asks. If it fits into the schedule, I'm going to do it. So I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't think I would ever get to a point where I'm like, nope, I'm not taking events. No, unless I'm like under some medical issues. I don't know.
Of
But
course, of
yeah.
course. Yeah. No, I just feel
Yeah.
I think, and I feel like, as a writer myself, an attitude of gratitude is so lovely. And, we, as you said, we have to have readers in order to be writers. And so to not want to connect with readers is very strange to me. So I'm thankful for authors that do want to connect. Anissa saying amen to women supporting women. Sherry saying that is so sweet. Your relationship with your editor and your agent. I totally agree, Sherry. It is so, so sweet. So Shanora, what was the hardest scene, without any spoilers, because we don't like spoilers on the show? What was the hardest scene, and what was your favorite scene to write, if you can tell us without any spoilers?
The hardest was, I want to say, when Samira was getting really close to figuring out the truth. And that's only because it's like I was Samira, so I was getting close to figuring out the truth. So I was like, what is happening here? Where are we going with this? Will it make sense? I think that was my hardest part. Also, the hardest part was, without spoiling it, was just going back into Melanie's past, and seeing like how trauma just affects people in a certain way. Like it's always hard to know that someone went through something and that's the way that they are because of that. So I think that was the hard part. But the easiest part was, I think, Roland and Samira's little meet cute, like even though it was quite bloody, supposedly, it was still, it's a little meet cute, sort of like, it's not romantic, like, not in the romance book sense, but it's like, oh, okay, I see why she's kind of fallen for him, So I think that was the easiest part for me.
Yay. Everybody, I'm sharing Shanora's link on Instagram. She loves to hang out on Insta. It's her favorite. So click on over, give her a follow. She is really Shanora on Instagram. So hang out with her over there. And I want to say the book is out tomorrow, y'all. So here is the link to pre-order. I'm going to pop that right there in the comments. So click on over to grab your copy. And Shanora, let's talk about the fact that BookBub has named this a best mystery of the year. Congratulations.
Thanks. I don't know how, but I don't know how they named that or why, but I'll take it.
Absolutely. That is earned. That is earned.
That's awesome.
Shantae, welcome to the conversation. Thanks so much for joining us. She's would like to know, Shanora, did you start off self-published and move to traditional publishers? If so, what was that transition like? Yeah, walk us through your path.
So I started off self-publishing, and then I moved to traditional, which was a pretty tricky transition for me. And I would only say that financially. Because I had to pause a lot of my self-published works for the traditional book, for The Perfect Ruin. So like there's a certain time frame where I couldn't release books, and I normally was like a pretty steady book releaser self-publishing. So there was like a transition that was just difficult. But I will say it was definitely worth it. But I started self-publishing when I was 18 years old. So I hit the New York Times when I was 19 with a self-published book. And it's terrible, so don't read that book. I'm not even going to tell you what book it is. Yep. Yeah, no. But anyway, yeah, I hit it with that list, and then I just kept going from there. So it took me almost nearly 8 years, almost 7 to 8 years to finally get a traditional book deal. Before going, and that's like with having like 25 books already under my belt that were self-published. So yeah, that transition was pretty. I kind of love this transition to the traditional world though, because it's slower. Whereas with your self-published, you have to be sort of like running everything. When you have a publisher, there's a team who's there to like do all those little things that I would have to do self-published wise. So I think, if somebody wanted to make me choose, I think I would say I mean, it's hard to choose. I love self-publishing because I love the freedom of it, but traditional is just much easier for me right now in my situation, like with my family and just writing in general. I'm a slower writer these days. I don't have as much time to. So I think traditional works best for me right now. But that's not to say that I won't come back out with the self-published book soon.
Do you think you will? First of all, Shantae saying, wow, what an amazing story. Anissa saying, wow, 19 and on the New York Times bestseller list. Wow, Anissa, right? That's such an incredible accomplishment. Shanora, not only to your talent as a writer, but your hustle. So congratulations on that. So sharing the different, thank you for sharing your journey through both worlds. Do you think you would want to go back?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing I like about Kensington is with Defina, with that publisher, is that, they work it to where I will still be able to self-publish in between these thrillers. So there's like really no restrictions. It's just I can have fun with both. They don't put like a hammer down, like, no, you should not do this, only focus on us. Like, I like that they still allow me the freedom to still promote and launch my self-published works and still tie in my thrillers. So I enjoy that a lot. And I do think, yeah, I would definitely, I do have a series, it's like a romance series that I've been going back and forth with that I would love to self-publish. I'm just, I'm not in a rush to publish it, but if I were to, I think I would most likely self-publish it.
Ooh, interesting. And I like that you said that there's freedom, but there's also there's freedom with self-publishing and more support, and a slower pace that feels more doable with the traditional. I loved that you included so many blurbs from librarians. Librarians are the best.
Awesome.
Let's share some of those. So Carrie Dubiel at the Twinsburg Public Library in Twinsburg, Ohio, shares this heart-pounding, twisty thriller as an unexpected story of suspicion and redemption. Let's hear it for librarians. I love that. Becky Lejeune from Book Bar Denver, I'm just going to pop this up because it's a big one, says Shanora Williams has a keen eye. I know we have to like look over here. For the tension that can build in a relationship paired with strong characters and a carefully built plot, make this a read that absolutely begs to be finished in one sitting, which she did. Librarians are fast readers. And we have a librarian watching, Miss Anissa, saying yay for librarians. She herself is a librarian. Thank you so much. We love libraries here. And I'm going to share a couple more reviews as well. Laura Fowler from the J.V. Fletcher Library in Westford, Massachusetts says this is an exceptional novel that you just don't want to miss. So thank you for all these. I love that there's all these wonderful blurbs from librarians. We have 1 minute left. If anyone has a last question, I think we can get one, maybe two questions in. So get them going in the comments while I share this last one from Nicole McManus. And she says Shanora Williams waves an intricate tale of domestic suspense. Readers will be gripped right from the very first sentence. This is a must read for thriller fans. And y'all, I want to share that pre-order link one more time because you want to get your mitts on this book real quick. It is out tomorrow, you guys. It's out tomorrow. So pre-order it tonight. And the good folks at Murder by the Book, our favorite woman-owned bookstore, will get it right in the mail to you tomorrow. Oh, Anissa is going to get our last question of the night. She wants to know, Shanora, who was the hardest character to write and why?
The hardest.
Librarians have the good questions.
That is a good question. The hardest, I think it was Roland. Roland was, I think he was, because it was hard to try and make him gentle and sort of like the suspect, if that makes sense. Like well, I don't want to spoil it, but you'll have to read it to kind of get what I mean. But it was hard to make him like someone who's like so loving and like, oh no, he couldn't have done it. Like you go back and forth with him. Like it's like ping pong, like, oh yeah, he definitely did it. Oh wait, no, he couldn't have. He's so sweet. You know, I think that was hard to pull off for him. Because it's either like, oh no, this guy is just crazy suspicious. So, but I think it was definitely him. Him and Melanie. Melanie was very intricate as well. I think those two.
Interesting. Okay. Well, Anissa, thank you for the great question and for your wonderful work at the library. Shanora, thank you for the great answer and for hopping on to join us. Give us an inside scoop on in this special pre-launch event, The Wife Before, out tomorrow, y'all. So here is the link. Pre-order it and they'll ship it out to you tomorrow. All right, y'all. I'll be back at the top of the hour with Nikisa Afia. I can't wait. Harlem Sunsets. Stay tuned. Shanora, thank you so much for coming on. Oh, one more comment. Lou Ann, welcome to the conversation, saying, I loved Roland. Poor guy. I really booed the women. Ooh. A testimony there to your ability to write complex characters.
I love Roland. I did really like Roland. I think he was a great character. He felt sort of real, like someone I knew almost, but I can't put a finger on it. Maybe he's a combination of people. I don't know, but he felt very real to me. So I'm glad that she loved Roland. I'm glad.
Yay, Luann. Thank you so much. And Nisa says, thank you for the kind words and for this event. Y'all, that's a wrap. Thank you so much, Shanora. And y'all stay tuned. I'll be back at the top of the hour.